What happens in a world full of war that has gone on for so long that nobody remembers what they are fighting for? What happens when you're born in said world, forced to fight for your country, regardless of what you think or feel about it? Are you allowed to feel or think about the topic? Are you allowed to speak up about it or act selfishly? I introduce you, the viewers, to a world where one must fight for the skies to return blue. Hey y'all, the doctor is in! Today I will be talking about the video game Sora. No, not that Sora. Sora, alternatively known as Suguri 2, the sequel to Suguri. Sora was developed and published by the developers of 100% Orange Juice, in which Sora was originally released in 2010. In 2016, it received a Steam release, with localization, higher resolution visuals, and other quality of life improvements. Now, what is Sora? Sora is a horizontally scrolling bullet hell shooter type of game. The overall goal is to defeat the enemies and bosses to complete each level. Now, bullet hell games have never really been a genre I fully tapped into. I've never even played any official Toho games, and I haven't even played a prequel to the game. So, why in the world would I go out of my way to play this? Well, I will get to that in a bit, but first I want to talk about a few more things about the game. First off, the difficulty of this game is incredibly high. It could take hours even just finishing a stage and ramps up in difficulty very quickly. Even if you select easy mode, it's still really challenging. There's unfortunately no way to make the game easier besides learning the controls and mechanics of the game. This is overall a negative I have for the game, as I would imagine some would want to see this game for its story and characters rather than suffering through the game's difficult gameplay. Despite that, the controls are really snappy and really fun. I have never had really any major issues playing with a PC keyboard, and there are a lot of weapons to choose from for your attacks. It's all very nicely customizable. The sound design in this game is pretty simple, it's pretty generic overall, but the music in this game is just greatness, and one of my favorite parts of this game. The composer Deku composed an incredible late 2000s trance original soundtrack that meshes perfectly with every stage and boss. I really recommend you check out the game's soundtrack if you love trance music. And lastly, the graphics, there's nothing really to scream about it. It's pretty much exactly what it looks like in the store's preview pages. It really should not be an issue to run at all. There's some nice usage of 3D map environments in the stage backgrounds at least. Okay, now that I've talked on for way too long, why did I buy this game? The premise. The premise for this game is just outstanding. Everything about it is completely up my alley. In this video, I will be giving a recap of the game's story within the levels. Now, let's begin the story of Sora. It starts off with a girl who was raised into a world of war where it has lasted so long to the point where nobody even understands why they are fighting anymore. At such a young age, she has only seen the sky being its beautiful blue self only once in her life. Sora, the main character of the game, is put to immediate use to fight for her country's military. Sora was transformed into an altered human who was repurposed to become the ultimate weapon. The operator, Sham, trained and helped Sora grow strong in the military. She taught her everything she knows and wants nothing but the best for Sora. Sham states that she just wants Sora to come back alive for her first mission. Sora sent out to her first real mission, to defend her base from the attack of several robots. While she is sent out to fight, she states that the sky is dark and gloomy, but continues to advance. Eventually, she fends off the robots and meets Alte, who is another altered human like Sora. Alte is shocked, not expecting to be in such a massive disadvantage against Sora. Sora states that she is the last one left and drop her weapons, as she does not want to fight anymore. Alte notes that Sora is a new type of model and calls her a monster after destroying all the robots with so little effort. Sora is hurt, not expecting her enemy to insult her like that. She's just trying to fight for everyone's safety. But Alte claims that she is fighting to protect those she cares for. If Alte doesn't kill Sora, everyone on her end will suffer. After hearing Alte's resolve, Sora learns more about the war and begins to defend herself from Alte. The two fight, with Sora easily winning the exchange. Alte, exhausted, keeps saying that she could still fight. She practically limps, or well, floats towards Sora in a last-ditch effort to take her out. Alte had sent out an explosive machine in an attempt to take out both of their lives, with Sora being the only one alive in the end. She wakes up to a refugee who rescued Sora. This kind refugee man claims that lives on this planet are handled with such little care, and he's working on towards saving everyone that he can. Sora tells the refugee her story, that she once saw the beautiful sky beyond the dense clouds, which motivates her to fight. He speaks to Sora, saying that he wants to make the whole sky crystal clear again for everyone to see. Sora is instantly motivated by his plans and ends up teaming up with him, alongside a team of engineers. Their purpose is to do everything they can to save what's left of this planet. In order to clean up the sky, Sora wonders what she could do to help. Her first response was to destroy the surrounding robots that were near the area she was in. After countless fights against all the robots... Oh my god, who is this little gremlin? Look at her! Sora ends up meeting, Tish? No, basically, they're another altered human who plan to attack on the engineers who attempt to escape from her squadron. Engineers? Okay. Sora shouts that she will not allow Tsih to just get away with killing the engineers because they're doing their best to clean the planet up. Tsih does not understand Sora's ambitions and her dedication to protecting them, so they end up duking it out in another battle. Her really unorthodox way of fighting catches Sora off a few times. But soon, Sora ends up destroying Tsih completely. She goes into hiding, in order to hide herself from the military that she was a part of. After some time passes, Sora is shown above a sandy environment in which she is swarmed by a massive army of robots. She reveals herself to the army and worries if she can even hold out against this many enemies. Sora is met with several missiles, tanks, laser beams, you name it this time around. A tornado of some kind surrounds the sandy area around her, where she is attacked by giant blades, revealing the next boss, Mira. If the player is able to react to the blades in time, Mira compliments Sora, saying that she's got pretty good moves and can see how she defeated Tsih. Mira reveals that they were the ones behind the attack, and is also here to take out the engineers, just like Tsih. Sora, still confused about their reasoning, asks Mira why. Why go to such lengths to kill those that have nothing to do with the war? Mira argues that it's because Sora is fighting for them. They tell Sora that she is also a part of this war. Mira also states that their reasoning for fighting is for revenge. They reveal that they are born from wanting to protect their bodies and minds. One person's body and another person's brain. Mira was a result of what was left. Sora is left speechless from this development, and is interrupted by Mira's lightning-fast attacks. The two of them face off with Mira's flashy, yet relentless avalanche of techniques. Unfortunately for Mira, Sora ends up destroying them, winning the fight. Sora floats above an ocean and ends up starting to feel guilty for being a part of this war, and wonders if her fighting is just making things worse. She's frustrated, troubled, and upset about her position. She clearly is showing that she does not want to be in this position. A familiar voice descends down to her, the operator, Sham, the girl who taught Sora everything from the beginning. How did she find her? Sham is excited to see Sora, thankful that she's still alive. After all, Sham hasn't seen Sora since her first mission. In fact, Sham was told if she found Sora alive, she was told to give her a real scolding. Now the two of them can go home. Is what would happen if that were the case. Yeah, Sora is not working for the military that Sham is a part of anymore. Sham gets pretty upset, stating that they need Sora to win the war. Without her powers, they will lose. This possessive behavior towards Sora makes her upset as well. She claims that if she goes with them, the engineers and people that she's protected will die. Sham corrects her, stating that if you don't come back, we will die. Man, the argument between these two comrades makes the situation so difficult. Sora brings up the idea of stopping the war. stating that if nobody would have to die if the war just ends. Ah, yes, stopping a war. A war where we don't even know what they're fighting for at this point. I mean, it's clear that there are people who want to protect friends or family, but just long on, how has this war gone on for? For the planet to be this bad? Has it gone on for like twice as long as the Reconquista? Or longer? Regardless, Sham is pretty angry about such a weak argument, and Sora herself isn't even sure herself. That statement alone would not help her at all. With no other way to find an excuse to stay, Sora is backed into a corner to fight one of the only people she knows and cares for. This is, in my opinion, one of the best parts in this whole game. The tension between the two friends, the super cool music playing with all these robots, the part where we even go underwater, I mean, it's just so, it's so good. This is how you set up a perfect dispute. This is the first time where we have to fight someone who isn't our enemy. After Sora defeats the last enemy sent by Sham, she compliments her, amazed at how she was able to survive that army of robots. The clouds darken even further, with it starting to rain heavily. There's no turning back now. The player must fight Sham. The two of them clash at long last. Countless disruptive rays, several small robots surrounding Sham. It's clear that Sham is still trying to neutralize Sora to bring her home. It really makes you wonder how the story would progress if we would just take her hand. Sora beats Sham, with Sham yet again complimenting on how strong Sora is. Yet, Sora is alone in this fight. Sham truly believes that one person alone can't end all of this. It's unrealistic. It's impossible. And yet, she looks at Sora saying that if she's somehow able to make this war stop, she will forgive her with a smile. Thus now begins the final arc of this story. Sora flies across the ocean and starts heading back to the headquarters of the military she was once a part of. Her goal is clear now, and is ready to take on anything to make everyone's dreams come true. She's met with a sea of enemies, already expecting her. Sora destroys several robots in her path effortlessly and starts heading towards the central tower. Sora destroys the last enemy and is met with yet another character, Nath, who claims that Sora has betrayed the military and will receive punishment for disobeying orders. Sora halts her, stating that she wants to talk instead about ending the war. Nath, despite being the enemy here, stops to listen to Sora. Nath states that nobody cares about the war anymore. What's more important to them is just absolute victory, regardless of what happens. Nath states that she still has to fight Sora, because that is how she was made. With Sora being the trump card to the military, the ultimate weapon, just flat out vanishing in her first mission, they hastily produced and remodeled Nath to become their next weapon, all because Sora left the military. Nath's arms were also removed from the process, all because Sora left the military. Even if the war ends, what could Nath do with a remodeled body like that? Her expression is like almost soulless, all because Sora left the military. What makes things worse is that Nath claims that she's the last remaining force on the military side, and that if she is destroyed, then maybe the war will finally end. You guessed it, it's all because Sora left the military. Jeez! After unwillingly being put through this massive guilt trip, Sora breaks down and starts apologizing. She's sorry about Nath's current state, and that regardless of what happened to her, she still has a resolve to fight and end this war. The two of them fight, with Nath immediately showing how strong she has become. With each health bar the player gets down, she transforms into a stronger mech with more and more weapons. Perhaps this is the price that Nath had to pay to obtain such potential. Yet despite her strength, Sora ends up defeating Nath. Sora apologizes yet again, with Nath now realizing why she couldn't beat Sora. She never had any grudges towards her in the first place. They both have the same ideals and feelings of the war, and they were both put to immediate usage for the military. Perhaps, in another life, they could have been friends. Sora and Nath were merely both pawns in this war. That being said, there is nothing a pawn can do against the queen. Within mere seconds after the fight between Sora and Nath, the sky rains red of misery and agony. Everything around Sora is destroyed, including Nath. Everything around her is engulfed in flames. Above her is one final challenge to stop this war. It's no longer a battle for protecting others for Sora. It's a battle for survival. Everyone she's fought up until this point and everyone she's protected can vanish in a mere instant from whatever is happening in the sky. Sora flies up high, destroying all the stray missiles and machines attempting to stop her in her tracks. At long last, Sora meets the source of the destruction of the city below. Who could be the one behind all of— Oh boy. A creation that's born in this war to fight and destroy everything. A singularity to extinguish humankind. Whoever this is, they are far from a normal human. This final obstacle in Sora's way is crazy enough to take on the entire world, and she might just do that. Those eyes, the scary expressions, the voice acting? Yeah, this is it. This is it, baby. This is definitely the final boss. Okay, going off script for a bit, this boss is really difficult. If you aren't careful, she will melt your health bar in mere seconds. Her gimmick is that she increases your heat meter so drastically, like, if you hit any of the flames she throws out, the heat meter for your character, like, it's there to show you how much you move around your character and attack, and you want it to be low, because the higher it is, the more damage you'll take from any stray attacks, so... if Sora isn't exhausted by this point, the player sure as heck might be. If you die here, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning of the level.
強い強いこのままじゃ私負けちゃうあなたじゃ僕には勝てないそれが分かっているのならもうやめて
As the battle progresses, the sky quivers around them. This ominous heartbeat in the background grows louder. We learn that the name of this girl is Starbreaker, the blasting fuse to the world's end. Starbreaker is the final obstacle for Sora to end this war. Is she the one that's in charge of everything? Is she the reason the war has been going on for this long? You could say that she is the mastermind or that she is like the leader of the previous bosses we fought, excluding Sham of course, but however, I bring an argument against that. See, up until this point, we have fought Alte, Tsih, Mira, Sham, and Nath. The names of these 5 are all potentially named after stars in several constellations. And Starbreaker, well, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together. She does not value these Star Warriors as anything but target practice for her.
Starbreaker.
After being beaten by Sora, Starbreaker attaches herself to the giant machine that we saw in the background previously. Despite the pain she is going through, she's even happier than she was before now that she can unleash her full power. This girl's beyond saving. Sora is put to the ultimate test to stop this machine and Starbreaker as a whole, with countless lasers strong enough to eradicate her instantly and more bombs being put out. It's clear that any error made will be fatal. Sora faces Starbreaker head-on in this ultimate battle. With a final blow delivered, Sora is victorious. Exhausted, Starbreaker starts breaking down. How can a being capable of destroying stars fail to destroy a single girl? With no other options left, Starbreaker snaps completely and lets the fuse to the machine attached to her. Sora quickly reacts and inverts her shields to cover Starbreaker to hopefully contain the blast. She's, however, knocked away from the blast and is sent tumbling down. The massive explosion covers the whole dark sky, with Sora's consciousness fading. As Sora keeps falling, she wonders if the planet will ever return to its beautiful self. That's it. The credits roll and... What? What? Wait, the credits? What? Is Sora dead? Did we fail? Wait, what happened to Sham and everyone? So yeah, this is technically the ending of the game and the story. pretty dark. Now hold on. However, shortly after the game's release, a new version was made available, which does add a new bonus stage. Sora finally awakes to see the sky still being as gloomy as always. She's cold. She's freezing. Sora is freezing cold and can hardly remember what happened. Is the sky raining ashes and dust? She even sees someone fly over her and immediately assumes that the war is still going. The planet has died out from the explosion and has put the planet into a state of nuclear winter. How long was she out? Weeks? Months? Years? Has everything she has done gone to waste? Furious, she gets up to locate who passed by her. Who Sora finds is two girls dressed in winter clothes, Hime and Suguri. Yep, that's right. Like I said in the very beginning of this video, this is the sequel to the game Suguri. However, this game takes place before Suguri 1, which means that this level takes place after the events of Suguri. That means it's been 10,000 years since Sora woke up. Where do I even start? Well, I'll start by saying that Sora charges straight at these two, with Hime telling Suguri to back off. Sora has no choice but to fight Hime. And, okay, I'm gonna pause real quick, but oh my god, I hate this boss. If it wasn't obvious, you have to fight Hime, and then fight Suguri right after. Cool, yeah, whatever. But Hime is so annoying, and has so many nearly unavoidable projectiles that it takes me like hours to beat. Suguri's not even that bad. That's the worst part. It's Hime. This is easy mode, and she's doing all of this. Maybe this is like easy for a lot of you, but I'm not that guy. I'm not that good at this game. This is just insanity. Anyway, once Sora fends Hime off, Suguri steps in and changes the resolution for the entire game because she's a real protagonist or something. I don't know. It's really cool though. They're both put into this arena where they both use similar weapons and attacks. Suguri is the true final boss of this game and tests the player's skills with everything she's got. Once Suguri is defeated, the two of them rise up even higher in the sky and clash in a struggle. Sora complains that she should have done more. She should have done more when she was awake, furious that she was asleep for this long. Suguri tells Sora to calm down and look around her surroundings. The sky around him changes, and Sora is left speechless. Suguri gives Sora comforting words and tells her that the people that she has fought for this whole time did what they had to do and help save the planet. With the credits rolling down again, Sora's story is finally over. Suguri asks for Sora's name, in which she responds with... Sorry, I just... Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry, this face is really funny. I know this is a really important moment. And that is the end of Sora. Before I end this video, I want to go over a few more things that come to mind. I just want to say I love this game's world and themes it tackles. It's rather dark and has pretty surprising themes, but there's so much interesting designs and concepts that I can't help but adore. It's a shame that this game wasn't translated for a while, and apparently there was a fan translation before the official translation that was notoriously horrible, getting so much dialogue and writing wrong that it was such a sour taste to the fans who waited for a localization all these years. Sora is the sky. It's the theme for this game, but there is more to the sky than just Sora herself. It's not a perfect game and story, and there are several things I wish it could have given the player. For example, the characters shown have such interesting concepts that are just thrown away unless you are a heavy lore researcher from other titles like 100% orange juice, 200% mixed juice, acceleration of Suguri, or the second one, or even the official artist's Twitter. Like, did you know that Alte is actually missing an eye? The artist Hono, who pretty much is involved in almost everything related to the Orange Juice franchise, draws the designs and characters and all that. Alte is actually married, and if you look back from earlier, she's shown to have a ring. This is so sad. It's even shown in the sequel to Acceleration of Suguri that her husband survived the war and couldn't pair up with anyone else because he kept thinking of Alte. Like, oh my god. And Tsih, the gremlin character, you know, the long sleeves girl, her hands are apparently damaged according to 100% Orange Juice's OJ Dex. She's hiding her hands on purpose. Mira, there's so much I want to know about them. Like, who were the original bodies and minds of them? Is a whole ninja hero-like personality based on one of their minds or the body that they have? And Sham, oh my god. God, forget the burn scars all over her. What happened to her? Imagine her position. She never got to see Sora ever again after facing her. I mean, like, yeah, what did happen to Sham? Were the burn scars from training with Sora? Did she partake in the war at one point? And then there's Nath, which... okay, I'm not even gonna start with Nath. She alone could take me like 10 minutes to discuss. The only one I can sort of understand is Starbreaker. I mean, she's clearly a crazy girl that wants to destroy everything. Cool. I could be nitpicky and start listing off questions on how she was made or who made her or whatever. But then there's a whole alternate universe in the other Orange Juice games where she's just a normal schoolgirl. Was she transformed into this? Oh my god, this can of worms never ends. To be fair, that version of Starbreaker originates from the spin-off game 200% Mixed Juice. Still pretty interesting. Starbreaker's backstory has more detail from old tweets by Hono, but since that was so long ago, I can't really say how relevant or canon those tweets are anymore. Everything I said aside, I really wish this game had more exploration. The characters and designs are just so fascinating to me that I can't help but ask more and more questions. It's a short game. Everything I stated in this video is essentially everything that it has to offer. I mean, I would love if this game got like a remake or remaster, maybe giving more additional content of these characters. Please give us better transitions to these stages. There's literally a part where we're in the icy tundra, and then the next stage is a dry wasteland with like no explanation. I want world building, dang it! This game, the story, and everything. I couldn't ask for a better ending. The themes it portrays are just so strong, and it's just amazing how the game ends the story. Sora is traumatized, and has only fought. Her first reaction to thinking that the planet went cold is just so tragic. But it makes sense. Everything about the final stage makes sense on why she was so angry. So for that final reveal at the end to show the blue sky is just the cherry on the top. Despite everything, Sora can now live in a peaceful world. The viewers at home or elsewhere, thank you. Thank you for listening to my overview on what I think is one of the most underappreciated titles out there. Take care of yourself, and enjoy the world around you. That is all.